You assume that in her moments of solitude, she longs for your presence, your humor, or your evenings out. You believe she scrolls through your pictures, replaying the words you once spoke. Perhaps. But this is all a surface-level film, a fine powder blown away by the first real wind of nostalgia. The harsh but candid reality is that her logic can despise you, her friends can urge her to move on. But her body archives everything. It recalls the feelings you etched into it, like a signet pressed into soft wax. It is this chronicle, the chronicle of the body, that we will explore today. This insight is potent because it functions on the plane of instinct, circumventing the checkpoints of reason and good judgment. A century ago, the great cartographers of the psyche, figures like Freud and Jung, surmised that our most profound bonds are forged not in our conscious mind, but in the subconscious. In that primal, animalistic core of our being that responds not to language, but to touch, to scent, to sensation. Today, we will expose this very mechanism. I will navigate you through 7 layers of this somatic memory, 7 phantom imprints that compel her body to yearn for you, even when she consciously denies it. We will deconstruct them all, from the most basic to the most critical, the 7th phantom, the true master key to her subconscious, the final measure that elevates a man from a mere skilled lover to an unforgettable presence. But I must give you a warning. Watching only halfway will grant you but a fraction of the truth. The ultimate key is revealed only at the very end. So, before we unveil the first somatic anchor, I have a straightforward request. If you are prepared to face the unadulterated truth, like this video now, so I know we are in alignment. And if this is your first time here and you are unafraid of true depth, then subscribe. And before we dive in, I'm intensely curious about our community's reach. Please share your city in the comments below. Let's see the global spread of us thinking men. Act 1, The Imprints of Sanctuary and Power. Phantom 1, The Impression of Your Hands. A blueprint of authority and security. Let us begin at the bedrock, with the instrument a man subconsciously uses to author his narrative on a woman's body, his hands. We tend to view them as simple tools for labor or affection. But this is a reductionist perspective. In truth, a man's hands are a breathing polygraph, a conduit of authority, and the principal source of her corporeal peace. When she misses you, it is not your hands she misses, but what they communicated to her in the dialect of ancient instincts. Let's start with the neurobiological level. A woman's skin is not merely an envelope, it's a vast sensory canvas wired directly to her limbic system, the nexus of emotion and survival. A light, fluttering touch often triggers alarm, being historically linked to insects or unseen dangers. Conversely, a confident, deliberate, weighted touch from a man's hand activates the parasympathetic nervous system. It engages the vagus nerve, which signals the brain, the environment is secure, stand down. The production of cortisol, the hormone of stress, plummets, while oxytocin, the hormone of connection, surges. Thus, the pressure of your hand on her shoulder is not simply a gesture, it is a biochemical infusion of tranquility. Her body becomes physiologically attuned to this sensation, as if to a calming agent. Now, let's translate this science into the lexicon of actual experience. Her memory is not a clinical document, but a montage of specific scenes. Scene 1, the nape of her neck. This is more than drawing her closer for a kiss. The nape and neck are her points of greatest vulnerability. When your hand rests there, commanding yet gentle, fingers lightly weaving into her hair, you display absolute dominion over her vulnerability. You are silently conveying, I possess the power to harm, yet I choose to protect and cherish. This dichotomy, dominion and tenderness in one motion, intoxicates her. She will recall not the kiss, but the sensation of your fingers at the base of her skull. Scene 2, the small of her back in a crowd. Picture navigating through a dense space. Your palm there is not for balance. It is your nonverbal vanguard and guide. You steer her, absorbing the jostling of the crowd, while she moves with your momentum, oblivious to the path. In that instant, she fully surrenders her navigation to you, and for her psyche, this is a profound release. She misses this feeling of being guided, the permission to not be the capable adult, for even a few minutes. Scene 3, her thigh in the heat of passion. Here, we speak of an emblem of possession. When your hand clenches her thigh or buttock, with a firmness bordering on pain, you are searing a brand onto her. It is a primitive gesture that declares, mine. At that moment, she perceives not aggression, but the apex of your desire, a testament to your being driven to distraction by her. This knowledge, that she can provoke such a loss of control in a strong man, deeply validates her feminine identity. She will long for this painful evidence of her power over you. Your hand, in her recollection, is not just a hand. It is an archetype. It is the anchor that moors her vessel in the turbulent sea of her emotions. It is the sovereign scepter, dictating direction. It is the sculptor's tool, shaping her into a woman by awakening her latent aspects. When your hand is composed and heavy, it is a promise of stability. When it forms a fist in anger, not at her, but at the world, it is her shield. When it softly caresses her hair, it is her haven. To grasp the value of the correct touch, one must understand its antithesis. Her body remembers other hands with revulsion. The jellyfish hand, a feeble, flaccid touch broadcasting uncertainty. Such a hand does not soothe, it transmits anxiety. The spider hand, frantic, hurried fingers that betray a nervous disposition. The vice grip hand, an excessively forceful clutch that reveals deep-seated insecurities. Her body reads these signals with unerring accuracy. And in stark contrast, your assured, calm, and powerful hand becomes a hallowed relic in her memory. Yet even this sensation of power and control is but a prelude to the all-encompassing serenity she will find in the seventh, and final, phantom. Phantom 2, the feeling of your chest. The citadel and the resonance chamber. Let us now ascend to where power meets vulnerability. Your chest. For a woman, this is not merely a part of your anatomy, it is her personal citadel wall. It is an emblem of permanence, reliability, and calm. She does not miss the musculature, she misses the feeling of this indomitable barrier between herself and the chaos of the external world. It is the physical manifestation of the word steadfast. Scientifically speaking, two potent mechanisms are in play. The first is cardiac rhythm. Bioresonance research indicates that in close proximity, individuals' heart rates can synchronize. The tranquil, measured beat of your heart, around 60 to 70 beats per minute, functions as a cadence for her turbulent nervous system. Her own accelerated heartbeat, driven by stress or worry, subconsciously begins to attune to your rhythm. This is the most ancient sedative known to our species, returning her to a state of primal peace. The second mechanism involves low-frequency vibrations. When you speak while she rests her head on your chest, the resonance travels through her body, physically dissolving tension in her diaphragm and solar plexus, the very places stress colonizes. This is her personal resonance chamber, through which she retunes her spiritual equilibrium. She may forget the words you spoke, but her body will eternally archive this calming vibration, this deep thrum of power. Let's examine the specific scenarios etched into her memory. The return from battle scene. She arrives home after a grueling day, fraught with tension. She has no desire for words. She simply presses against your chest, shuts her eyes, and falls silent. In this moment, you are not her partner or lover. You are her sanctuary. She is physically drawing upon your composure, your serenity, your masculine essence, to fortify herself for tomorrow's challenges. She misses this capacity to recenter against you. The after the tempest scene. This concerns the moment following intimacy. As the storm of passion subsides, she lays her head upon your chest. In this quietude, she is not merely listening to a heartbeat. She is receiving a status report on your very being. If your heart beats with a steady, powerful rhythm, her instincts report, he is strong, he has recovered, he is capable of protecting. It is an unconscious audit of your vitality, and successfully passing this test hardwires you into her psyche as a dependable and formidable partner. Metaphorically, your chest is her refuge, her confessional, and her pedestal in one. It is the place she can permit herself to be fragile, because she physically senses your fortitude. Conversely, there are the anti-cases her body recalls with a shudder. The tense, armored male chest that repels instead of welcomes, or a heart that hammers with anxiety, transmitting panic instead of peace. These are tells of weakness a woman deciphers instantly. And when you are gone, she misses precisely the feeling of your unshakable foundation. But regardless of this wall's strength against the outer world, the seventh phantom provides a defense against her inner turmoil, and that is the monumental difference. Act 2, Anchors of Primal Intimacy and Magnetism. Phantom 3, your scent. The biochemical fingerprint. We now venture into the domain of pure instinct, the most archaic region of her brain, which is deaf to words but fluent in chemical signals. We are speaking of your scent. This is, quite possibly, the most overlooked yet most formidable anchor of them all. While touch and sound are filtered through consciousness, scent directly assaults the subconscious, the command center of memory and emotion. Let's be unequivocal, we are not discussing your design or fragrance. Cologne is your public persona, your attire for the world. It can be appealing, it can capture attention, but it will never forge a bond. A woman does not miss the smell of your cologne. She feels a visceral craving for the scent of your skin, for that distinct cocktail of androgen, perspiration, and genetically coded emissions that constitutes your unique biochemical fingerprint. Science terms this olfactory memory. Odors are processed by the olfactory bulb, which has direct pathways to the amygdala governing emotions and the hippocampus, the seat of long-term memory. This is why the aroma of baking bread can instantly transport us to our childhood. Your natural scent, intermingled with hers, creates a singular couple's aroma that her brain registers as sanctuary and security. This is impossible to replicate or counterfeit. Her memory catalogs this in specific scent prints. Scent print 1. The pillow. In your absence, she might spend hours on your side of the bed, face buried in your pillow. She is not merely reminiscing. She is attempting to absorb a dose of the very chemical that pacifies her anxiety. It is her private, personal remedy. Scent print 2. Your apparel. This explains her fondness for sleeping in your shirts. Large and shapeless, it swathes her in your scent, crafting an illusion of your presence, a cocoon of safety. Scent print 3. The most intimate, her own skin. The aroma of your body upon hers after intimacy is a mark that, on a subconscious level, wards off other potential suitors and provides a profound sense of belonging. It is the most ancient broadcast to the world, this woman has claimed, and she luxuriates in this feeling. Recall Napoleon's infamous missive to Josephine, "I am returning. Do not bathe." He intuitively understood the force of this animalistic magnetism. Metaphorically, your scent is the invisible banner with which you claim your territory. It is your chemical inscription upon her soul. The anti-case is self-evident, either a total absence of scent, a sterility that suggests a fear of one's own nature, or an offensive odor, which signals neglect and disrespect. She seeks not a flawless fragrance, but a familiar one. And upon finding it, a dependency is formed, akin to an addiction. Her reason may command her to leave, but her body, in the throes of olfactory starvation, will gravitate toward the source of that unique, intrinsic scent. Phantom 4. Your gaze. The twin flames of desire. From chemistry, we pivot to physics, to the most formidable energy a man can project across a distance, his gaze. A woman is immersed in the gazes of men her whole life. Yet 99% are mere static, empty nourishment. She does not miss that you looked at her. She misses the way you looked at her. Specifically, the dynamic contrast, the two essential personas you transmitted through your eyes. Psychologically, direct, sustained eye contact is an expression of dominance or profound connection. In the wild, it is a challenge. In civilization, it is either a menace or an invitation. A man who has mastered his gaze can, without uttering a word, guide a woman through the full emotional gamut, from apprehension to ecstasy. Her pupils will involuntarily mirror yours. If your eyes convey desire, her pupils will widen in response, even as she attempts to mask her interest. The first flame is the predator's gaze. This is the look you cast upon her at dinner, surrounded by others, yet for you, she is the only one in the room. It is slightly audacious, disrobing, suggestive. It is unwavering, it does not flit about. It does not ask a question, it makes a declaration: I desire you, and I will possess you. This gaze accelerates her heart rate, raises goosebumps on her skin. It awakens the primal female within her, the part that desires to be singled out by the alpha predator of the pack. This gaze is a promise of passion, of chaos, of surrender. But if that were its only dimension, you would be remembered as just another lover. The alchemy occurs because of the second flame. This is the guardian's gaze. It emerges in the aftermath. After the passion, after the chaos, as you lay in the quiet. It is entirely different. It is soft, unfocused. It holds no hunger, only tenderness and serenity. It is the look with which you watch her as she sleeps, with which you gently move a strand of hair from her face. This gaze communicates a silent vow: you are mine, and I will shield you from all harm. It is a promise of safety, of order, of protection. It is this devilish duality, from ravenous predator to gentle protector, from beast to deity, that concocts a potent psychological narcotic. She becomes addicted to this oscillation. She requires both the peril and the protection. Metaphorically, your eyes are the stage upon which her most vital drama unfolds. The anti-cases are the vacant, lifeless gaze that signals indifference, or the darting, hesitant gaze that broadcasts weakness. She does not miss the color of your eyes, but who she became in the reflection of your gaze, first, the coveted prize of the hunt, and then, the priceless treasure under guard. This feeling of being uniquely seen is impossible to forget. This is the caliber of insight you will find in all my work. We are not discussing pickup tactics here, we are exploring the psychology of profound bonds. If this is the kind of depth you've been searching for, there is no better moment to subscribe. Act 3, Imprints of Depth and Ownership. Phantom 5, the feeling of you within her. The blueprint of connection. We have arrived at our most charged and delicate subject. We will address it with masculine candor, but without crudeness. For this is not about physiology, but about the psychology of ownership and singularity. The ultimate secret a woman will never articulate, but which her body remembers with absolute fidelity. She misses the singular sensation of being filled that you, and only you, provided. This is a memory not of the mind, but of her most intrinsic muscles and nerve endings. Scientifically, this phenomenon can be understood through the concepts of muscle memory and proprioception, the body's awareness of itself in space. Her inner sanctum is not a passive receptacle. It is an intricate network of muscles that adapts, conforms, and learns the shape, weight, density, and rhythm of the partner. A form of calibration takes place. When this calibration is seamless, the brain receives a powerful signal of unity and safety, triggering the release of endorphins and oxytocin, which intensifies the bond of attachment. Let us immediately dismiss all insecurities and fallacies regarding size. It is entirely secondary. What is paramount is singularity. Each man's body is as unique as a fingerprint. Your form, your density, your weight, your curvature, your cadence, this is a singular key. And her body, in being with you, becomes accustomed to this specific key. The sensation of being filled is the most powerful unconscious signal to her body that the male is present. I am not alone, the void has been filled. This is less about pleasure and more about a foundational sense of wholeness. And herein lies the crux. In your absence, she feels more than just loneliness. She feels a phantom void. Intimacy with another man after you becomes an agony of contrast. His key will feel alien. Her body, recalling your unique blueprint, will persistently send her signals. This is wrong, unfamiliar, another should be here. It is akin to wearing shoes that are a size too small or too large. One can walk, but comfort and satisfaction are unattainable. This provokes a subconscious rejection, even if the new partner is exemplary in all other aspects. Metaphorically, you leave your imprint within her, your invisible template. Anything that fails to match this template will be registered as an imitation. The anti-case here is a lack of congruence. Not technically, but geometrically. When this sensation of a key fitting its lock is missing, intimacy remains on the level of physical exertion and never ascends to the plane of true connection. This is why she may sleep with others, but it is you she will miss. Because her body remembers not just the act, but your unique physical presence within her. This is the most intimate anchor, one that cannot be erased. Yet even this sensation is but a shadow of the union offered by the seventh phantom. Because the fifth is about physics, while the seventh is about metaphysics. Phantom 6, the sensation of your climax, the instant of revelation. We will now deconstruct a moment most men believe is solely their own. The moment of release, the moment of surrender. A man presumes that in this second, a woman's focus is entirely on her own sensations. This is a profound error. In reality, during this instant, she is, on a subconscious level, scrutinizing you. And what she observes either enthrones you or permanently casts you out. From a psychological perspective, this is a man's moment of supreme vulnerability. For a few seconds, he sheds his social carapace, his control, his capacity for deceit and pretense. It is a regression to a primal state. For a woman, naturally more attuned to empathy and the reading of nonverbal signals, these few seconds are a transparent window into a man's soul. She sees him unmasked. And this spectacle, for her, is the ultimate expression of his trust. She catalogs everything, the sound you utter, the look on your face, the tension in your hands. This is her private collection of your most truthful moments. She witnesses the most powerful, most controlled man on earth momentarily relinquish his authority, and this makes her feel incredibly potent in her own eyes. She succeeded in bringing the king to a state where he briefly sets aside his crown and stands before her as just a man. This is her ultimate prize. Metaphorically, this is your la petite mort, your little death, as the French termed it, and she is the sole witness to your subsequent revival. This forges a secret between you, one to which no one else is granted access. She will miss this precise feeling of being the only person on earth permitted to see the king unadorned. It is her exclusive privilege, her prerogative. The anti-cases here are devastating. If a man at this moment averts his face, turns away, becomes silent and withdrawn, he is signaling shame and distrust. He is, in effect, saying, "You may have my body, but you cannot have my soul." This is repellent. If he feigns it or remains detached and mechanical, he is committing a form of treason. He is being dishonest at the most intimate juncture. Thus, a man's conduct in this peak second is of immense significance, but even this zenith of vulnerability is merely a prelude to what unfolds in the seconds that follow. And that is the domain of the seventh phantom. Finale, the crowning secret. Phantom 7. The feeling that follows. The imprint of peace. We have traversed the 6 circles of somatic memory. Hands that confer power. A chest that provides sanctuary. A scent that forges dependency. A gaze that creates a drama. The feeling within that grants uniqueness. And the moment of climax that reveals truth. Each of these phantoms is a formidable anchor, but they are all merely charges planted at the base of her fortress. The seventh phantom is the detonator. It is what transforms these disparate sensations into a single, overwhelming detonation that permanently reshapes her internal world. We are speaking of the few moments of absolute stillness immediately following, of the temporal vacuum after the final wave of pleasure has ebbed, but before reality has fully returned. At this instant, she is not merely relaxed. She is utterly defenseless. Her psychological armor is non-existent. Her body and soul are a raw nerve, hypersensitive to the slightest touch, the slightest shift in the atmosphere. And your actions in these seconds are everything. This is the critically important transitional phase that 99% of men spectacularly fail, unaware that the true test has even begun. Let's dissect this mechanism at the level of pure biochemistry so you can comprehend the sheer power of this moment. Immediately post-climax, her system undergoes a hormonal cascade. Dopamine and adrenaline, the hormones of arousal and pursuit, plummet. They are replaced by a tidal wave of oxytocin and prolactin. Oxytocin is the hormone of profound trust and bonding, the cement that joins two souls. Prolactin induces a state of deep tranquility and drowsiness. In these seconds, her brain is essentially screaming, "Whoever is with me in this moment is my ultimate protector, my sole reality." She is in a state of hypnotic susceptibility, where you can either mend her old wounds or inflict new ones that will never fade. And at this juncture of vulnerability, a man takes one of two roads. The first road is betrayal. What does the average man do? He rolls over to face the wall. That movement, the sound of the sheets rustling, is the sound of the sacred vacuum being shattered. To her hypersensitive state, this is not just a shift in position. It is the physical sensation of being rejected. Or, he reaches for his phone. The pale glow of the screen in the dark is like a harsh spotlight on her eyes. It communicates, "My digital existence is more important than your present soul." For her, this is a silent but deafeningly clear message. The exchange is finished. The service rendered. You are dismissed. This sears a mark upon her soul, a feeling of being used, of coldness, of an endless void of loneliness. She may remain silent, but she will never, ever forget it. The second road is the coronation. What does the man who becomes a phantom do? He recognizes that his most crucial work starts now. He does not withdraw. On the contrary, he draws her closer. This is not a gesture of passion, but of ownership. A silent "you remain here, with me." His hand, which just moments before was gripping her with authority, now comes to rest, calm and heavy, on her hip or stomach. The weight of that hand is an anchor, keeping her from drifting into anxious thoughts. He silently places a kiss on the crown of her head, her shoulder, her temple. This is not foreplay. It is a royal seal, a mark of supreme patronage. And most critically, his breathing. Just recently ragged and animalistic, it now deepens and slows, and he consciously aligns it with her own. She feels this through her back, through her skin. Your lungs begin to operate in unison. This is the return to a shared rhythm of existence. In this precise moment, the most profound alchemy occurs, which I term the grand shift. The shift from animalistic passion to humanistic tenderness. From predator to protector. A signal of incredible potency is fused into her brain. He did not just take me for his pleasure. He remained to shield me in my moment of weakness. He did not abandon me. After reaching his own peak of power and vulnerability, he chose to stay with me. This transition, from a fire that could have incinerated to the warmth of a hearth that will burn eternally, is what her psyche registers as the ultimate, absolute form of love and reliability. It is the fulfillment of a search that began in her childhood, when she cried in her bed, hoping someone large and powerful would come to soothe her. She may have more spectacular orgasms with a technical virtuoso. She may meet men who are more handsome, wealthy, or successful. But she will never, with any other, experience this all-encompassing sense of security in her moment of total vulnerability. Any man can offer her passion, but only a select few can offer her peace in the aftermath of passion. And it is this peace, this quietude, this sense of resolution that her body and soul will feel an unquenchable, phantom thirst for all her days. The preceding 6 phantoms are merely rehearsals. The 7th phantom is the grand premiere that will be etched in her memory forever. This is the moment where, as Jung might say, the archetypes of the beast and the guardian merge within a man, and he becomes for her a complete, self-contained universe. And that is something she will never find again. Conclusion: to become her phantom. Now, with the complete tapestry before you, you must grasp the central thesis. This is not a collection of techniques. It is a holistic system that recodes her entire perception of reality. By leaving these 7 imprints upon her, you establish a new, gold standard of experience. Henceforth, every other man will be subconsciously measured not on his merits, but on his alignment with these anchors. Her body will betray her mind. Her logic might insist that a new partner is a wonderful man, but his hands will feel too light, his chest too fraught with anxiety, his scent alien, and his gaze vacant. After you, she will not be seeking a man. She will be seeking familiar sensations. And in their absence, she will feel an inexplicable, hollowing void, a phantom ache for what she once possessed and then lost. In our era of fleeting connections, men have become afraid of their own nature. They attempt to be either exclusively nice guys with gentle hands or exclusively bad boys with domineering gestures. Both are but half of a man. Only the one who does not fear his inner beast, but consciously places it in the service of his inner guardian, becomes a complete world for a woman. This is not about what you do, but who you are. It is the philosophy of conscious embodiment. And the 7th phantom is the final signature on the entire contract. Without this concluding chord, all your passion will be remembered as a brilliant, but transient, flash. But with it, that passion is transformed into the very foundation of an unbreakable fortress. You are no longer a mere recollection. You become the standard, the measure, a specter that will invisibly inhabit her bed with every man who follows. She might marry, raise a family, live a full life, but on a solitary night, in the quiet of her bedroom, she will suddenly recall not your face, not your words. She will recall the weight of your hand on the nape of her neck. She will recall the vibration of your voice in your chest. And she will recall that all-consuming peace that descended upon her after your shared tempest. And in that instant, she will realize she did not just lose a man, she lost a part of herself. And now, the final question for you, my thinking audience. I have presented the 7 phantoms from my perspective, but I know that each of you holds unique experiences. Which of these 7 anchors, in your view, resonates most powerfully? Or is there, perhaps, an 8th that I have overlooked? Share your insights in the comments. I will personally feature the most profound and interesting contributions at the top. Let's consolidate our collective masculine wisdom in this one place.